My dad was the first to come to the United States to prepare a path for my mom and I to come.
I'm from Aguililla, Michoacan, Mexico. It's a small little town where everybody knows everybody. So when I was about to turn 5, 2 days before, we were at this event, a bull riding event with my whole family. My dad took us to this hotel after the event was over, and he had to go somewhere. The next day, my mom received a call which led us to find out that my dad was just murdered the day that he left, the day before. And since that day, I guess that's what started everything. That's the reason why I'm here today. That's when my mom had to make the decision to leave me, my brother, and my sister behind in Mexico, and for her to immigrate by herself to find, I guess, like a job that she could support us.
My mother and father worked in the same office together. She was a secretary and my dad was an accountant. And after they got married and started forming the family, my dad started having trouble getting work, because in Mexico, once you reach a certain age, I believe it's 35, basically experience age discrimination when you're looking for work. For some reason, if you're over 35, you're not hireable anymore. So after my dad wasn't able to find work for a while, they decided that it was time to come to the US. And we were very fortunate to be able to come with a visa, but we overstayed the visa.
So my family and I immigrated from Mexico to the United States in 1998. And the reason being is because my father got a job opportunity here in California as a teacher. At that time, in California, they were looking for teachers here. So my dad got this job opportunity, and he decided that he's gonna be taking the whole family. And at the time, I was 5 years old. So we've been living here since now for 17 years.
When I was 9 years old, I remember protesting with my parents against Prop 187, which was a law in California that basically denied undocumented immigrants basic rights like education and health care, except under an emergency. And I remember asking my dad, like, why are we doing this? Why are we marching in the street? And he basically explained, we're fighting for our rights because the government doesn't want you to have a right to an education, and trying to take away your right to go to the hospital and receive health care. And I don't think I really understood exactly what that meant, but I remember asking myself, like, are we bad people? Like, are we doing something wrong? Like, why is this happening? So ever since I was a kid and even well into adulthood, when I would see a white unmarked van, I would think like it's ICE or La Migra, and I would freak out because I would think they're coming to get me, or they're coming to get my parents. And you know, I would see white unmarked vans everywhere, but if they were near the house, I would run home and like hope that my parents were there and hope it wasn't too late. You know, and I'm pretty sure most of the time it wasn't ICE, but that fear was always there. And now that I'm older, it's like, and I see a white unmarked van, I know it's not ICE, but it still makes me really uneasy.
I was 15 years old when I found out I was undocumented, and it all happened because I wanted to be in driver's ed, and my mom told me I couldn't because I was undocumented. I learned that not only I was unable to get a driver's license, I wouldn't be able to work in the United States, I wouldn't be able to vote or leave the country if I ever wanted to come back. And now that I have that security, that I'm able to have more, the security that my job won't be taken away from me because of my undocumented status, it encourages me to grow.
So my mom had been working 2 jobs actually since we arrived to the US, and I remember I was about 15 years old, and I felt that me and my brother had a responsibility to actually like step up and actually help her So that's when I asked her, like, oh, I want to get a job. And first she wasn't hesitant. She said, I guess she was kind of relieved that she didn't have to ask me to get a job, that I was the one who wanted to get a job. Being qualified for DACA actually gave me a lot more opportunities, or pretty much opened a lot of doors that were closed for me before. So I actually could apply for jobs that have more like as a career than just a job that you do to survive.
After graduation, I felt my father's frustration of being college educated, but kind of being stuck doing low-skilled labor because of his status. President Obama implemented DACA a few months after graduation, and it gave me hope. And I said, it's a big risk, but I'm going to take it because this will allow me to pursue my career and my goals.
So all DACA recipients, they were kids when they arrived to the U.S. So the U.S. is the only place that they can call pretty much home.
We need to advocate and educate people on the importance of DACA and immigration reform, because there's still so much that needs to be done.
This experience that I've had has allowed me to be aware of my privilege as a citizen, and has made me realize of the responsibility that I have to make sure that I create systemic change that will prevent families from being separated and keep individuals from being forced into isolation.
We may be undocumented, but we as humans have rights, and there are still millions of people that live in the shadows in fear and don't speak up because they feel like they can't and they don't have a voice. But it's important for people to continue and advocate for immigration reform and to speak up and tell their stories, because that's the only way people are ever going to listen and we're ever going to make something happen.
So I think as a community, we have a responsibility to help each other out, right? And I believe that if one member in our community is hurting or does not have the rights that they deserve, then the entire community is hurting.